There's blizzards in the northeast and in the northwest. There's a heat wave coming in, rolling in out the southwest. You got tropical storms coming out the southeast, converging, all of that shit over here. And people got the audacity to say that nothing's happening. Well, at this particular point, I'm sitting back watching and I'm saying to myself, this the calm before the storm. I don't know what's going to be the tipping point, but this is the calm before the storm, because only thing we ain't took control of is media, right? So mainstream media is the last thing out of enemies to go. So whoever it is working for our side should probably be trying to shut that shit down, right? Because once they shut down the fake media, there's nobody to keep up the charade. That's snatching the curtain off their ass, right? So, like, I can't tell a motherfucker when shit gonna happen. I done said that 1,000,000 times. I can read it in real time as it's happening, and I can give a reasonable assumption of what this add up to in a mathematical sense. That's not prophecy. That's not giving prophecy. That don't mean I gotta always be right. And that's where motherfuckers make their mistake. They think that if any motherfucker say something, he gotta automatically be right. I can be wrong too. I don't gotta always be right. But the fact that whether I'm wrong or whether I'm right, I stand on my motherfucking convictions. My mama said, let your yes be yes and let your no's be no. So if a motherfucker don't understand what that means, then that's their problem, not mine. Right? So I've been trying to figure out, like, what else to tell these people. What else can I tell them to do? Once I done told y'all who the kings of the land was, and y'all supposed to be pushing that agenda, but nobody's really, only certain key people pushing the agenda. Everybody else sitting on the fence, twiddling their legs, you know, flipping their thumbs. I've been laying low, watching, and I know something ain't right. I just don't know what it is. Something don't fit in the equation, right? The math is incongruent right now. So the only thing to do to make it more congruent and balance that shit out is to flip a bigger turnaround on the media, because they the ones keeping the charade going. They the ones broadcasting this bullshit from fake presidential Oval Office studios. Castle Rock, they got one on the military base. I was going over that with Rashida earlier. These motherfuckers keeping up this elaborate front. The only thing we ain't did was snatch the motherfucking curtains off the media. Get rid of them motherfuckers, take over their shit. Confiscate their shit for being an enemy to the people by feeding them the propaganda that lead them to participate in their own destruction. But y'all don't hear me though. Y'all don't hear me. Because it's the media that's playing this song and dance, right? The artificial political elites. Where these motherfuckers really at, right? So they telling us this shit, but something is amiss. I can't say exactly what it is right now, but this shit's supposed to been well on the road to recovery by now. And somebody getting overzealous in their position and taking shit a little bit out of context, a little bit too far, right? So you got to know where to draw the line at, where you supposed to stop. Where's the finish line? Motherfucker can't keep moving the finish line because it's going to make motherfuckers say, wait a minute, why the finish line keep moving? Every time we finish, then the finish line move again. That shit ain't fair. But they've been cheating the whole time, so why would they be any of a less of a cheat now? Right? They've been cheating the whole time. right? It's just that now you can't pull the same shit on our eyes. So now you have to keep as many of us, each one teach one, from teaching another. Because the more of us to get the information out, the more we understand what we up against, the less jurisdictional authority these motherfuckers have to take us over. Right? So, if I don't speak to y'all one at a time, no, I appreciate y'all being here. I would like it better if y'all would bring more people. But hey, I ain't tripping because the shit gonna happen whether it's a little or a lot. I prefer to take a lot of us with us. I could have saved more people had they know they need saving. Right? Had they know they were tricked, I could have helped them out of the deception, out of the trickery. But because they were so thoroughly tricked, they fought against everything that I say to break them free from the trickery. Right? I got Clubhouse. I just haven't set up a room. Right? I don't really be... The thing is this. I could talk to y'all till blue in the face. It's not going to change nothing. It's not going to help nothing. The only thing going to change is if the people that I'm talking to is inspired to action from the words I speak. You know, if I get you to teach somebody the shit that I'm teaching you, showing you where to look for the information, here's the answers. You look right here. This is the answer to the problem. Right? Some people are starting to understand what the problem is and see who the real enemy is. Right? So I be putting them, I post that shit. I don't give a fuck. If I see somebody saying the same thing, I don't have to know them motherfuckers. They telling you the exact same thing I'm telling you. So if they telling it to you, I'm telling it to you, and we don't know each other, then it might be some validity to that shit. Right? So first and foremost, the black term for the people is a chess term for the people. All of the people considered as black as the pawns on the defensive side of the chessboard, and all the people considered white is the pawns on the offensive side of the chessboard. On the defensive side of the chessboard, you don't even have to know that you're under attack. The defensive side of the chessboard consists of the indigenous people of the land. The deception being used to prevent them from ever participating in the chess game is to make them believe that they don't even have positions on the chessboard. When the real reality of it is they own the chessboard. Right? Not only do they own the chessboard, they invented the game. Once you realize you invented the game, you got to realize that the inventor of the game can't be beat using that game. Right? So he can come in late. He can come in an off position. He can come in at a bishop's angle or at a knight's L. Or he can slide across on the rook. Or he can push in any direction off a queen. But whatever it boils down to, when it comes to the grand hurrah, checkmate motherfucker, the gig is up. You have to know when you playing against them, and you got to know what they're using as a strategy to use to keep you in a subservient condition. Now, the chains are paper chains. The paper chains are the adhesion contracts. So look up adhesion contracts, right? Every time you do paperwork with the corporation, you are agreeing to follow the rules of the corporation. The corporation is not the government. The government is the people that the people pick from among themselves to be their leaders. Not the artificial electoral college puppy dog show that they tell y'all is the president, who is actually the elected CEO of the corporation by stakeholders. If you don't know what the electoral college is, you won't never know how they was able to determine who was going to be the president from the word go. Because the electorate can override the popular vote. But if they want you to think whatever they want you to think, right, then they can tell you that the popular vote is what the electors was going to do anyway. You have no way of verifying that, right? There's no agency that verifies ballots specifically should be done on its own in a society where your votes count, right? So automatically, if you was having real presidential elections, it would be an independent corporation, an independent body that would be tasked with inspecting the validity of all of the motherfucking ballots if it wasn't fixed. But it's fixed. So since it's fixed, they let the electors of the electoral college, who they know they're gonna vote for ahead of time, even before the election. Because part of being enrolled as an electorate in the electoral college is they have to know who you voting for. So that's how they know already who's gonna win. Okay, so being separate from the corporation is taking away the artificial, what they call the de facto jurisdiction, which is actually an assumed jurisdiction acting under the color of law. Violation of the United States Code 1983. So when they acting under the color of state law, they passing themselves off with the appropriate jurisdictional appearance, but without the substance. So when you validate the illegitimate system, you telling them that you are imbecile in law, and the imbecile in law is considered dead, aka black, right? So you black in law, which means you the ones that they are attacking anyway. How do you know this? We've been at war for 500 years, right? In the 500-year war, they have what they call warrants. A war rant is a declaration of war that is perpetual. Every time one of us color outside the lines they draw for us, they issue a warrant in our name. But they don't issue it in the name of what we call the de jure. They are issued in the name of the de facto corporate entity they create that represents you, called a straw man. The straw man is what you call a legal fiction. That means it's created in law, but it's not real in substance. It is a de facto. The corporation known as the United States is a de facto. The people of the land in a sovereign capacity are the de jure. When you realize that you the de jure, then you got to know, well, how is they playing this game that keeps us from winning? They use the paper trap to get you to consent to their superior jurisdiction. The paper trap determines your lack of competency to handle your own affairs because you keep re-enlisting in adhesion contract after adhesion contract with a defunct corporation. It's closed now. So now you beating the dead horse trying to get it to come back to life, looking for some shit they call normal. We ain't going back to that shit. Better get Sister Tracy. See what she got on her man. Hey Tracy, can you hear me? Can you hear me? That must have been an accident. Okay, so yeah. So now when you don't do the paperwork, they can't validate the substance of their claim of you being an imbecile in law because only an imbecile would surrender his inalienable rights for his civil liberties. Your inalienable rights override all of the civil liberties. The civil liberties are those uh, um, allowances that the corporation, the civic, body, the corporation, acting under the pretense of government, allow you to, as a member of a corporation. Your membership is determined by you recontracting with them again and again and again. And the more you recontract with them, filing nationality cards, driver's license, birth certificates, social security cards, you saying that they de facto jurisdiction is more superior than your de jure jurisdiction when that's not possible, even according to their own law admission, right? Because they tell you in their law that sovereigns empower corporations to perform the functions of government. If the sovereign at any time realize that the corporation is ran amok, then the sovereign can withdraw his consent for the corporation to do business from his sovereign capacity as a 5/5 realized being and not a 3/5 Dred Scott compromised imbecile in law, right? So that's the name of the game, and that's how it works. Once you know how it works, you can mount a defense against it. But if you don't know how you work, you can't defend against it. What we would be doing if everybody knew what was going on, we would all be walking off our jobs and shut the economy down, right? But it's going to shut down anyway. These banks have been bleeding us dry for too long. So that's a wrap for them. They undermine Big Mama Bank, undermine Big Mama Bank, right? They couldn't keep it, but they could live off of it as long as they was holding it in trust for the rightful trustees to assert their superior jurisdiction in a de jure capacity as a sovereign being, right? And demand that the three kings be seen walking on the land as free men, right? So that we can restore the balance back and raise the matriarchy, right? So you need all four of them, the three kings that's the governors of the land, right? The one so declared to redeem them or to show the people where the real leaders on the land at, and to tell the people who we pick versus the corporate fiction in a artificial dog and pony show called elections. All elections are fixed. Rodrizzo's 06. Let's see what he talking about. Come on in, my man.